on. So I'm gonna try and teach you guys how to do muscle ups my way. The easy way does not require as much strength as doing a strict muscle up. So the way I do it is I kind of cheat a little bit, and I'll show you what I do to cheat and to make it easy. Really the muscle up it's two pieces, right? It's pulling yourself. So it's like the pulling motion, similar to how you do a pull-up, and then it's the pushing motion once you're over the bar to push all the way up. Now the muscle up is not as difficult as it looks if you focus more on the techniques that I'll discuss. If you want to do like a really strict, slow, controlled muscle up, like if you look up, I believe his name is Andres. His first name is Andres Aguilar at like the 1988 or 92 Olympics rings. He's doing the rings, and he does this like really slow, just ridiculously, impressive muscle up. Now that is a different story entirely. The bar muscle up, especially if you use a little bit of momentum, is not that difficult. I would say if you can do 10 good pull-ups, then you can probably do a muscle up if you use the right techniques. So I'll show you what I do to do the bar, I guess bar muscle up with non-perfect form, and hopefully you guys will be able to do it too with a little bit of practice. So when I first started doing this, it took me a while to just get the timing right, because that's ultimately what it is. It's more a skill and a matter of correct technique than it is a feat of like brute strength. And so if your technique is kind of wrong, you can end up kind of hurting yourself. And when I was learning, like my shoulders would kind of nag a little bit after every session. I would try to do just one, and because the technique wasn't right, I knew what the technique was supposed to be, but of course, where the rubber meets the road is actually putting it into practice. My timing and stuff was not right, so my shoulders would nag a little bit. So you do want to be careful with this, especially because the transition part, when you go from being like under the bar to being over the bar, like that's where your shoulders kind of take a toll. So that's something I do want to point out, a big caveat there. But there's three pieces to it. The first is the actual pulling strength, because once you're over the bar, it's like doing a dip. It's not very difficult. The hard part is actually getting high enough to where you can push. So we're going to talk really about the pulling part. The first component is like the base strength, right? So you want to be able to do, say, like 10 decent pull-ups. That should be enough of a strength foundation. And then we can kind of talk about the techniques, right? So the first technique that I employ is basically, instead of coming from right under the bar, I take a step back, because when I jump at the bar from a step back and I hold on, my body will naturally start swinging. So you can see how my whole body is swinging. I want to swing in a line like this. The bigger the swing I can generate, the more momentum I can parlay into upward motion. So when I was first starting out, I would try and jump from as far back as I could. So step one, step back, and then jump at the bar to create a swing. Step two is to bring your knees to your chest on the back swing. So as you can see, it's all about the timing, right? So right when the back swing is about to start, right here is when I kick. So as this is my head, this is my legs. So as I right when my body's about to swing back is when I kick my knees up to generate even more momentum. It's like how the figure skaters, they're spinning and then they bring in their I think it's called moment of inertia or whatever in physics, but basically they make themselves smaller, and then they bring their elbows and their arms in, and then they spin faster, right? And it's kind of the same concept here. When you bring your knee, when you tuck your knees to your chest, so that's really what you're doing. You're tucking your knees to your chest. When you tuck your knees to your chest, that'll help you actually swing even higher on the backswing. So that's part two, and remember, it's all about the timing. So there's 3 parts you have to get right with the timing, and the first 2 are the swing and the kickback. So right when you start swinging back is when you want to tuck your knees into your chest, and that's how you can generate a ton of momentum. Now, as I've gotten stronger and better at this technique, I don't have to swing as big, and I don't have to kick my knees as much or kick my legs as much. But when you're first learning, this will really help you. So swing, kick my knees up, and you can see how high I get literally just from that. From just swinging and kicking my knees up and pulling like very lightly. And once you have those 2 pieces down, the third piece to add is your actual pulling motion, right? So the part of the reason why I should probably explain this too is when you're doing the muscle up, the idea isn't to pull yourself vertically, and then once you're over the bar, push yourself the rest of the way up. You actually want to go you kind of swing, and then you come up and around the bar, then you push yourself up. So it's not a vertical line, and with there being like a transition point halfway in the middle from pulling to pushing, you actually pull yourself up and around the bar, and then you push yourself up the rest of the way. So basically that's the purpose of the swing, is to generate that like, I guess, C-shaped motion. And then now I'm going to show you to add the third piece in. If you get the first 2 parts right, the swing, the backswing, and the kick, you can get it becomes almost effortless to pull yourself. You don't have to pull very hard to get high enough to where you can finish the rest of the motion. So backswing, kick, legs, right? And then once I'm here, it's effortless. Like this part is this. Once you're up here, it's not difficult at all. But of course, the hard part is getting to that point. But yeah, so 3 pieces: backswing, tucking, like kicking your knees into your chest. Like this tucking motion helps you parlay the swinging motion into a more upwards motion. And then the last part, of course, is supplementing those two with the actual pulling momentum. So 3 pieces, and it's all about timing. I would say it took me maybe, I don't remember, maybe a month or 2 months to actually learn to get like my first muscle up. And then once I got it, it was pretty easy to add more and more muscle ups to I guess a set. But really the hard part is just getting the technique down. And again, you do want to be careful with your shoulders. There's a non-trivial risk of injury. But yeah, for one last time, so backswing, kick, pull, and those things all happen simultaneously, right? So I'm like talking as I do this, but those things are all happening in the same kind of in the same time span. It's not like a 1, 2, 3 sequential thing. They all work together in conjunction, and you just have to get the timing right. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Stay safe, and best of luck to y'all.